What's good, family? What's good? It's your boy, Urban Sports Guru. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Hope everybody's having a blessed day. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? New York, enjoying this heat. Getting to work out in the heat. Feels good to work out in this heat. I love it. Let me get into y'all with some basketball talk. After watching Game 7, I'm even firmer in my convictions that the Warriors are going to win the championship. I think they're a year ahead of schedule. There's a lot to suggest that Boston is going to win the championship. But one of the things I've noticed from the Milwaukee series, and I've noticed it here. If you look at Boston these last few years, the difference between this year and these last few years is the level of defense that they're playing, and the fact that there's no super teams. But the level of defense that they play is insane. The way they could just Marcus Smart is the kind of guy you want on your team. Such a great defender. And he can defend at 6'4", stout, and he can defend so many multiple positions. But what they do defensively is excellent. But one of the differences with this team is Marcus Smart before was never the starting point guard. He was never the starting point guard. I'm forgetting the brother who they didn't re-sign. He went down to Charlotte, got paid. Then you had Kyrie, and then you know what I'm saying, you had Schroeder, you had Kemba, you had so many different guys where Marcus Smart was always the third guard. He was always the third guard, complementary piece. And one of the things that this year he's been more of a main piece, which is why he's always been such a great defender. But now he's being a main piece. He's now, first team all defense, defensive player of the year, and all that. But where it has an effect, he's shot the ball better. He's still streaky, but when I look at their main three guys, decision making, playmaking is not their strengths. And that's what hurt them in the Milwaukee series. That's what has hurt them in the Miami series, where it should have never won 7 games. And they easily could have lost Game 7. Very easily could have. Some may say should have lost Game 7. To do that against a team like Golden State that aren't going to make those mistakes. We've seen Golden State in those kind of situations just to the playoffs against Memphis when they had Ja, and they wasn't making the mistakes that Minnesota made. When I look at Boston, they're making those kind of mistakes down the stretch because Jason Tatum turns the ball over. He's a great scorer when he's on, but a lot of times he turns the ball over. Jaylen Brown turns the ball. These guys aren't natural playmakers, so what you would need is a natural playmaker to make those decisions, to make those plays for them and get them shots, or just let them be scorers. They have a bunch of guys that can make plays, but they don't have that one guy that they get to give the ball to, and as far as just be a playmaker and make great decisions. They have one guy they can get the ball to and say, give me a bucket. They don't have guys that they can say, okay, make great decisions. And the best decision maker they have is actually Al Horford. And when I just think of that, and I think about how this team does not handle prosperity very well. They really just don't. They do not handle prosperity very well. They don't. And the fact that they almost lost to a Miami team, as depleted as they are, as scoring deficient as they are, a lot of it, when I look at even Game 6, they were practically begging to lose that game. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe they only scored 93 points in that game. I understand typical Eastern Conference basketball is different from Western Conference basketball. I get that. But in this age of just jacking up threes, and you only score 93 points, yes, it was on the road. No, that was at home, but you only score 93. No, in Game 5. In Game 5, you only score 93 points? Like, on the road, I get it, but 93 points? Only reason you won because Miami couldn't make a shot to save their life. Their half-court offense is anemic. Only reason they won Game 6 and was in Game 7 because Jimmy Butler went bonkers. because they had a guy like Jimmy Butler to get goes bonkers. But and I look at that Golden State series. Andrew Wiggins show up. I think Golden State smokes them. And I said before 6, maybe 7. I'm starting to think of Andrew Wiggins balling because Andrew Wiggins has 2 studs that he has to go against. But if he balls and is a real contributor on the offensive end, not doing the MIA shit that Harrison Barnes did, no, we don't need him to be KD, of course not. But if he's balling, he's giving 18, 19 points a game, Golden State wins this in 5. 5. Say it again. 5. Because Golden State is not going to make the mistakes and the stupid turnovers that Boston makes. Boston, a lot of times, they're jacking up all these threes, and they're practically begging for you to win the game. It's just that they played against teams where they didn't have perimeter guys who can make shots consistently. Against Milwaukee, did not have perimeter guys who can consistently, game in, game out, make shots. Miami did not have perimeter guys who can consistently, game in, game out, make shots. Golden State can. Yes, I think Boston's physicality can get to them where they'll get a game in Boston where they blow them out the fucking place. They're going to have a game in Boston, I'm calling it. Win, lose, or draw, whoever wins. And said there'll be a game in Boston where Boston blows them out the building by 30. Their physicality gets in them, and Golden State will check out in the second quarter, so to speak. They'll kind of check out in the second quarter. All right, we'll look to play the next game. That's going to happen. But I'm starting to feel like that might be the only game they win. Because Boston's physicality, and they don't handle prosperity very well. And if Jason Tatum's game is so dependent on if his jumper is falling. As a Dookie, I roll with my Dookies, but I looked at his game is so sometimes overly dependent is if his 3-ball and his pull-up is falling. If his shit ain't falling, Jaylen Brown, I noticed because he's twitchy, he's very, very athletic, he gets more easy baskets than Tatum. So a lot of times, even when Tatum's not falling, you notice Brown will give you 40. So he can give you 40. But when he relies too much on his jumper and not trying to get the easy baskets, when those two guys, I just look at it like, and they so much of it is the 3-ball. Yes, I think they actually have more guys than Golden State who can genuinely shoot the 3-ball. But just their decision making is a big problem. And I understand the team has to come into the age where they learn how to win. You have to learn how to win. Winning is you have to learn how to win, especially on the championship level. And when you're doing that against a team who, like I said, Golden State seems to be a year ahead of schedule because no Wiseman, and Kuminga's getting better, better and better. And look at what Jordan Poole's grown into. I think Jordan Poole and Wiggins are going to be so critical. So critical. If those two guys are giving you 15 plus points, again, Golden State wins this series in 5 games. That's my take. It's your boy, Urban Sports Guru. I'm out. Salute.